Hi, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Evolving Women. I'm Teresa Lisum, and I'm here with my amazing guest co-host, Erin Neff.
Hi,
Welcome, Erin. So glad you're here.
thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for taking the time to be here with us. I love that you help women create meaningful and joyful rituals within their normal daily life. I love that. I really want to talk more about that. But we had an interesting conversation before we hit the record button. I just want to touch upon it just for a few moments.
Yeah,
Erin has took an improv class, and we were talking about how good that is to keep brains focused in the moment.
for sure. I think for me, my brain is always thinking of the next thing, whether it's to, I think you said earlier, like not to look dumb or to be prepared or to articulate well, right? And when you're in moments where none of that is available to you, it can, like, my brain is buffering back here. What do I do? What do I say? All the
Hmm.
things instead of just
Hmm.
being like, there's no rules. There's nothing you have to say. There's nothing you have to be in a moment of improv other than just say a word. And sometimes that can be really hard.
And kind of scary,
A
would be
little
my
bit,
guess.
right?
Yeah.
It's really good practice for me and really great reminders to like pay attention to what's happening in my brain. Do I need to have these thoughts right now? How are they benefiting this conversation or this moment with a friend or walking, even just out, alone? Am I taking time to like look at the beautiful flowers we have here in Puerto
Hmm.
Vallarta, Mexico? All of those things, right? It kind of created for me some afterthought of just pause and enjoy the moment at hand.
Hmm. Smell the roses. Take
A
time to
hundred
smell the
percent.
roses.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is a practice, I think, and a gift we give ourselves.
Yeah. Yes. For sure.
And and if we're present with the person in front of us, that's a gift we're giving that person.
100%. Right. And I think even when we're by ourselves, really practicing that then makes it easier when we're with other people.
Mm,
Right.
I love
And
that.
so, yeah, it builds that muscle.
I had and I didn't know this at the time, but I know it now, learn after learning what I've learned through my life. We had a neighbor growing up. He was a bachelor,
Hmm.
and he was also a teacher at the high school. So I had him as my neighbor and a teacher.
Okay.
But anyway, he was so present
Mm,
with me personally, and I know he did that with other people. Like
mhm.
he would just focus his eyes on you and focus everything about his being on you. And I loved being around him, but I didn't know that's what was happening,
Yeah.
until afterward, like I said, years later. I'm like, oh, that's what was so special about him, as he was present with whoever was in front of him. And
Yeah.
so I felt really good and seen by another human being.
Yeah. It's really a way to respect the other people that
Yes,
we're in
yes.
conversation with too, right? Like you said that he was a special person, but I think
Hmm.
also he made you feel really special
Yes,
in his
yes.
presence because you were the only thing in his sphere when he was speaking with
Hmm.
you, right? And
Hmm.
that is a way to respect other humans and to make them feel special. And I think for me personally, like that's what I want everybody to feel after,
Right,
our
right.
time together, right? Like they left feeling good and seen and understood and heard, right? Those are important things that what a little gift we could give everybody if we just get out of our own heads.
And it doesn't cost anything.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
But that's what we all want. That's what we're all seeking, I think,
Yes,
with
100%.
any relationship. We're seeking some understanding and some time and space and attention,
Yeah.
even if you don't understand and can't relate to what that person is telling you, you're at least giving them that space and that container to express themselves and see them, as we
Yes,
say.
and I
So,
I think when we step out of our own head, like trying to think
Mm-hmm.
about what the next thing is to say, it gives us space to be curious. So even
I
if I
love
don't
that.
really understand your journey, or maybe like your passion isn't my passion, when I'm in the moment, I can at least be curious about it,
I
right?
love that. I
And
love that.
then like worst case scenario, you learn about something new.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You may not have the same opinion or same thoughts, but yes, you've learned something. So I love that, being curious.
Yeah.
If we all come to every situation, every person with curiosity, how
Hmm.
much better would our world be?
Our world will be so much better. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. So that kind of ties in, I think, in my head at least,
Yeah.
how you help other people create that moment of being in the present, in
Yeah.
the moment with rituals and meaning and intention. So
Yeah.
how do you do that for people?
Well, it all started a couple years ago when I decided to remove alcohol from my world.
Mhm.
And I really had to look inward as to what was going on with my relationship with alcohol. And I also want to be transparent in the fact that there are lots of different variations of addiction to alcohol and many different things. I don't know that anybody in my sphere would have been like, hey, Erin, you have a problem with this. You need to stop this. But when I had some health conditions come up and I removed alcohol, for me, it was a problem, right? Um, I called myself a social drinker, but I wanted wine every night at home
Mhm.
alone.
Mhm.
Um, it was a ritual that was a part of my day every single day. And if it wasn't a part of my day, then I felt like I was missing out on something.
Yeah.
So when I removed that from my life, I had to be like, what's going on with this? And I think one of the things that I really missed was having that ritual. I missed
Mm.
having a glass of wine in my hand, sitting on my couch after work, unwinding, having something delicious, chatting with friends, whatever that was. That was a ritual, kind of like my morning coffee ritual, right? Except
Good
that's not frowned
point.
upon the way, and it doesn't
Good
impact my life the
point.
same way that alcohol was, right?
Right.
Um, so fast forward. I have quit my corporate job and have dived headfirst into entrepreneurship. And I said, okay, I love having a drink in my hand. What makes for a great mocktail? What kind of things can mimic wine? All of these different ideas in my mind, right? And so I went on this journey of looking into Google, finding recipes, buying 100 ingredients, coming home, making these beautiful mocktails, and then everything sits on the shelf and doesn't get used again. And the interesting thing was, I would rarely make the same drink twice with all of those ingredients because it was labor intensive. And I said, if I want a beautiful drink in my hand or something that makes me feel special and contributes to this little ritual after work, how can I do this and not spend $50 on ingredients I'm only going to use once? And how can I make something that's like good for me too, right?
Hmm.
And I decided that if I wanted this, there had to be other people that wanted it. So I just started playing around in my kitchen and came up with some really delicious, at least in my opinion, mocktails that I have repeated many times out of the ingredients I have in my kitchen. So that's kind of how these rituals were born or replaced, maybe. And I think I also, for me, I like being really curious with flavors. So I've really surprised myself with some of the things that I have tossed in a glass and then like put on repeat. Yeah,
Now,
so
I believe you wrote a book, right? Did you write a book on that?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, I have two books. They're called The Effortless Mocktail. The first one is The Effortless Mocktail. The second one is The Effortless Cold Brew. So I wanted to make cafe style drinks at home. I love coffee. I am a little bit of a coffee geek. And so I was like, how can I make really simple drinks that look delicious, that taste delicious, that also enhance my little morning ritual?
Mm-hmm.
And so I made both of those for people to explore and be curious with, and yeah, add to their own daily joys.
There's that word curious again.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
love that. And explore,
Yes,
because sometimes we, as adults, we don't necessarily explore things
yes.
because we're stuck in the same old, or we've stepped into cultural patterns and norms, and we don't think to take the time to break out of it. Like you said, your ritual of a glass of wine at the end of your day. And I
Mhm.
love that you explored the idea behind it, the intention behind it. What is it about that ritual that you can replace or add to or expand upon, where it's not a glass of wine, but it's something else, but it's a similar, you're getting the similar results from it in terms of how you feel.
Yeah, it was a little bit of like, why do I miss this so much? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I had to go down that journey. And like, if I'm really transparent, like what I missed was being a little buzzed so that I could forget about my day at work.
Mm-hmm.
And that brought on a lot more questions, right? Like, why are we working at a place that you want to escape every day? And
Oh, wow.
why why is this more important than your own personal happiness,
Mm.
right? It brought up a lot of questions around that. I think that the surface answer is I liked having something beautiful in a glass to hold and decompress with.
Wow.
But it goes way deeper than all of that for anybody else out there that's considering like leaving alcohol and is also on a similar journey of asking themselves the same questions. Like
Wow.
for me, it was more behind that than just I'm gonna stop drinking, but what is this actually doing for me?
Hmm. Oh, I love that. What an introspective journey you allowed yourself to go on,
Mhm.
because you're right, they're always, I'm not gonna, always is probably not a good word. The reason behind the
Mhm.
emotion, or behind the ritual, or behind the behavior, or behind, there's something back there that
Mhm.
we haven't discovered, where you pushed under whatever,
Yeah.
whether it was a childhood pattern or whatever, to sort of bring that up and look at it, bring it into the light and really look at it and analyze it, and then be able to kind of distance yourself from it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, there was a distancing of many things, right? It started with a glass of wine at night, but many nights it was two or three glasses of wine because after I
Mm-hmm.
had that one, I was like, oh, one more while I cook, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then one more
Mm-hmm.
with dinner.
Mm-hmm.
It was, playing hard on the weekends. My generation was taught work hard and play hard. It was the
Mm-hmm.
reward for going to that awful, nasty
Yep,
job
yep, yep.
was to play hard on the weekends to make up for it. And for me, I think that that's toxic for humans to operate on that
Yes.
level, right?
Yes.
And so it wasn't just saying, okay, alcohol is poison in my body and this isn't good for me, but it was alcohol is representing a belief that I was taught from generations before
Mm.
me. And I have to break this cycle of what's being taught. So it
Wow.
was also understanding how do I show up at bars and still honor not drinking, but yet keeping friends. And when you do that, a lot of your friends fall off. You realize very
Mm.
quickly who
Wow.
only likes you as a drinking person and who
Mm-hmm.
actually likes you for you. So
Wow.
there's a bit of a life change and that I recently talked about in a video sharing that I think the hardest thing about quitting drinking for me personally wasn't just giving up the alcohol, which was difficult. But it was the rebuilding my life after that. Because
Mm.
once you question like this, I am subscribing to a belief that I have been taught and have 1,000% subscribed to up until now.
Mm-hmm.
it makes you question a lot of other beliefs behind that.
Wow.
And then your perspective shifts and your values shift a little bit, your priorities shift a little bit, and then you're in this moment of who am I now?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Your identity is now a little
Yeah,
different.
yep, yep. Who am I without that wine glass in my
Yes.
hand? Wow.
And who am I without this belief that I have to suffer in a job that I don't like
Mm,
and reward myself with something that like makes me forget about it, right? Like
wow.
essentially, I think that's the core belief that I had to really question. And it changed a lot of things for me.
Oh, I'm sure it did.
Yeah.
But what a journey. So you were questioning that ritual, that habit,
Yeah.
which led you to question why you had to reward yourself for suffering through 5 days at a job, which
Yeah.
led you to, a pruning of your friendships,
Hmm.
and which led you to who am I now? Like,
Yeah.
what a journey
Yes.
that you had to go on, and I applaud you for that because obviously not everybody wants to do that
Sure. Yeah.
because it takes a lot of work and a lot of courage and a lot of change
Yeah.
and a lot of disruption of, as you said, your beliefs,
Yeah.
societal norms, what
Yeah.
you've been programmed to think. I was going to bring that up about society glorifying that whole experience.
Yes.
And that's the only way you can have fun is if you have some bottle or cup of alcohol in your hand and you're going to have all these friends. We've all seen the advertisements.
Yes,
Everybody's
yes, yes.
laughing and having a good time. And
Yeah, I think there's some unspoken like societal rules around fun and drinking, and
hmm
it's there's an unspoken rule that if you're not drunk, then you can't be silly.
right,
Being silly
exactly.
without alcohol is weird,
Exactly.
right? So
Yep.
only people who go to the bar and drink are allowed to be like silly and fun and light. And
Mm,
I'm saying this as
mm,
like the 80%. I know that we can go to bars and have mocktails and have good conversations, but that's not the necessarily what the environment is inviting you to do or
right,
creating
right.
for you, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
I appreciate that awareness around that unspoken rule. I guess I never thought about that. It gives you permission to let go of those rules,
Yes.
whatever. I mean, there's a rule around letting go of the rules.
There are, right?
Like this is
Um,
your permission slip to let your guard down.
yes. Yeah,
Hmm
and even then we're not really allowed to get to know other people. We're only allowed to be drunk and silly. Like I use the
Mm.
example of, have you ever like talked with a stranger at a bar and asked them like, what do you like to do outside of, work or whatever? And they're like, why are you being so serious? It's like it's
hmm
not really permissible to go there. Again, I'm speaking in general terms, right? Like that
hmm
environment doesn't give you permission to build those connections or
Wow.
to have those moments of just joy and curiosity. It's this is what we do here. It's let's have some cheese and
Yeah.
talk sports and
Right,
be
right.
silly and do things we won't remember tomorrow,
Wow. Whew. Oh my God, there's so much in there.
Yeah.
And the beliefs, when you tied that to your beliefs, you had to question those rules, you had to question the societal norms, you had to question your beliefs. Like
Hmm.
that's a lot of stuff.
Hmm. It was a lot of stuff. Um, and I think when we look at how hardwired this is into society, or maybe it's mostly my generation, I think the younger generations are not as interested in alcohol as maybe mine and yours. But people are personally offended when you tell them that you don't want to drink many times, right? What do you mean you
Mm,
don't drink? Well, would you want a beer? Well, then they kind of like have this, it almost feels like a personal attack on them.
Mm,
And I think that's where it comes back that it's such a
mm,
deep-rooted generational belief, right? That somebody of my generation or your generation cannot comprehend and then feels almost personally offended that you're not going to drink with them. Because
hmm.
if they're drinking by themselves, well, that
Yeah.
might be a little awkward, right?
Right, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Plus, it could be taken as a judgment
Yes.
of their behaviors
Yes.
and
Absolutely.
leading them to think about things and that journey that you took that they don't want to think about.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
There is so much to this conversation. So I want to come back to so you had to create a new identity
Yes.
outside of what you had been doing
Yes.
and give yourself a permission slip to do something different.
Yes. Yes. I did. And well, it wasn't the easiest thing, as you can
I'm sure it
imagine.
wasn't. I'm sure it
Um,
wasn't.
this brought up a lot of questions, right? So it brought up a lot of questions of how do I socialize now?
Yes. Yeah. I
I
bet.
got to a part of my world where even the friends who like were more than accepting of me not drinking and still inviting me to happy hours or inviting me to meet them for after dinner drinks, etc. Um, I started really like not fitting in, right? And I
Mm,
think it's like the permission. Like I still love those people and do things with those people, but it became a pathway for me to say, what is happening in our social environment, right? And how are we actually connecting? And what I see
mm,
happening in environments that aren't specifically giving us permission to talk about who we are outside of what we do. We see this happening in bars. We see this happening like in mixers, like they're specifically for people who want to be very surface. We see this happening at networking events. The permission there is to talk about what you do. And people
mm-hmm,
many times
mm-hmm.
confuse what they do with who they are, or
Exactly.
they don't know who they are. And
Yep.
what happens is then we find ourselves meeting people and like, oh, they're good people. I like them. And we go to dinner and we're all following this social script. It goes something like this. Oh yeah, how long have you lived here? Where's your family from? Yada yada. How is your
Mm-hmm,
work? What's going on? What
mm-hmm,
new
mm-hmm.
projects do you have going on?
Yeah.
And then somehow we bridge that into maybe some TV shows, and then we start telling our good old day stories for the 100th time, right? And it might be a story from your high school, it might be a story from like your travel days. But if you know these people and we are not in positions to really talk about who we are, we hear those same stories over and over
Yeah.
again.
Wow.
And this is a script that we just keep showing up to. And I believe that it is the number one contributor to people leaving social experiences and saying, I am socially exhausted. I don't
Mm.
really want to do this. Like, it was nice to see them, but we just do the same thing every time, right? So
Yep.
this has then led me to say, all right, I want spaces to connect with people where there's permission to say no to alcohol. Whether somebody is not drinking at all, maybe they're questioning, like, I'd like to drink less. Maybe they just like to have a social experience and that not be the main attraction. Um, so I started creating local events into my community where I help people get past the small talk, right? Because many times we don't know. We've been subscribing to the social script for so
Mm-hmm.
long, we're not really sure. And
Wow.
a couple of things have come to light as I've really like started diving in and seeing what was happening. So there are two big components to this, many small ones. Um, but how do we quickly get past the small talk in a
Mm.
environment? And the first thing is that the environment has to give us permission, meaning a bar doesn't necessarily give you permission to go past the small talk. mixers don't necessarily either, and neither do networking events, right? Sh so showing up at happy hour, you're likely going to repeat the same thing over and over again. The other factor to really creating connections and community is the people that show up. So if you show up to a space and you're talking to somebody and they only want to be surface level, which is totally fine. But if you try to go deeper with somebody who only wants to be social, a surface level, then
Hmm.
you also end up exhausted at the end because I
Yes.
keep putting myself out there. I keep putting myself
Yes.
out there, right? And it makes me sad because as humans on a psychological level, we need connection with other
Yes.
people,
Yes, we
right?
do.
So I
Hmm.
wanted to create spaces where people came with the intention of building connection.
Mm.
And I have two of the three that I do are alcohol free. So people can see what it's like to have fun. And maybe people who drink will also start questioning as
Hmm.
well and be curious with themselves. I hope that that is maybe what happens. But most importantly, I want people to connect with each other and understand how to be curious about
Mm.
other humans and ways that maybe they already or that they don't know how to do.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
That's almost a big task.
it
I
is, but
mean,
it's so much
you're
fun.
leading by example
Yeah,
by holding these local events,
yeah,
and people know right from the get-go, if you come to this event, this is the intention.
yeah.
And, we're going to do some things different that you might not have ever done before. And so they need to come with an open mind. And as you said, curiosity. And I want to, can you give me one example of how you've learned to get past the small talk quickly?
Like as it pertains to me personally or as it pertains to the events.
The events.
So, there are a few things that happen. Number one, we have ground rules in the beginning. One of them
Okay.
is no politics, because I think this is a great way to stunt small talk and to
Yes,
many things,
yes.
right? Secondly, we have a rule where we have a mutual respect for everybody and every story
Mm,
that is shared. So we all agree that while there are learnings we will have in these conversations and stories that there will be to share, that we leave names and details in this space. They do not leave with us.
hmm.
And I think starting with that as a mutual respect kind of makes people first they laugh when I say no politics and they're like, thank God. And then when they all agree, like, yeah, I want to agree to that because I also might want to share something, right?
Mm,
That kind of helps everybody drop their guard a little bit. Um, in my social club nights, which have a lot of activities in the forefront of them, a lot of silliness, a lot of playfulness, which I think is something that we as adults have forgotten how to do.
amen.
Yeah. This immediately levels the playing field, meaning nobody knows quite what they're getting into for starters when they
Hmm.
show up, right?
Hmm. Yep.
But then when they show up and like everybody's kind of being a little silly and everybody's required to like say something or do something, then there's a unity that happens because now we're all at the same level of vulnerability. And when we enter at the same level, this builds connection.
I love that.
So when we start by having fun, when we start by doing silly things, when we start by cheering on our team members, um, it's just an invitation to be more when it comes time to do have conversations at the end. And I actually give
Oh,
them things to talk about, right? So people don't have to wonder, what am I going to ask? What's going to happen? They have topics that already help them get past the surface and really
gotcha.
learn about other people.
Okay, I love that.
Hmm.
So you're loosening them up,
Yes.
breaking down, bringing them all into the same level playing field.
Yes.
And then we're going to get into the deep stuff and have
Yes.
those deep conversations and connections. Oh
Yes.
my God, I love that. And I'm
Yeah.
going to just quickly do a quick plug for my giggle gatherings that I have once a month.
Yeah.
Same thing. I've seen the same thing happen in person where that, I love that you said level the playing field. And
Yes.
we're all going to do this goofy thing, and we're all going to just kind of see each other from that perspective.
Yeah.
And then it does lead into a special bond, special
Yeah.
connection. You might not even know these people. You might
Yeah.
never see them again, but yet you have created something between you
Mhm.
that is a shared experience.
Yeah.
So I totally am on board with what you're doing. I absolutely love it.
Ah, amazing. Well, I'd love to host you sometime.
Oh my gosh, I love, love, love it. And you're giving them permission. And I love your ground rules that you set up. You're giving them permission to be a certain way, act a certain way, not
Mhm.
talk about politics, be respectful of each other. So you're giving that permission right up front.
Yeah.
Instead of like taking something away, you're giving them permission to act all silly, and we're gonna be laughing and maybe falling down because of whatever the
Yes.
activity. And
Yes.
that's okay because we're all doing it, so it doesn't matter.
Right. Exactly. Right. Right.
I absolutely love your formula. I totally
Thank you.
do. And you're leading by example. As you said, other people will see what you're doing at this event
Yeah.
without alcohol. And oh, maybe I might want to try that. And
Yeah.
it's okay to do that stuff without that alcohol in my system. So I really see you as having this massive ripple effect outward in your community. And
Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful thing. I applaud you for that.
Thank you. Thank
Oh,
you.
how
That's
exciting. Wow. And like I said, that's big. That is totally big. You're changing the way people see connection or see a social event.
absolutely. And
Mm.
when we get into those deeper conversations and people have full autonomy, they can decide how deep or not they want to
Mhm,
go, right?
mhm,
But when we have those conversations, no matter how deep, and we see others reflect back to us ourselves, like there is something so powerful about being witnessed by others,
mm.
about hearing our words back to us,
Yes, yes.
that it's just impossible for somebody to come and leave without their cup just running over.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm. Beautiful cups, I might
Yes.
add.
Yes.
There is definitely something about drinking. I mean, this is a stainless steel cup that I decorated,
Oh,
that
I
I
love
have
it.
one in my kitchen, that it's mine. I drink from it every day. It's
Yes.
beautiful. Nobody else can use it because
There
it's
you go.
mine. It makes me just, it delights me like, oh, I love my glass. So there
Yeah.
is something about drinking, eating something from something beautiful that brings you joy.
Absolutely. Like I'm a firm believer our food should like be presented and it should look freaking delicious, right? It doesn't take much to plate your food and make it look beautiful and colorful. And the same with drinks. Like, I don't care, drink your apple juice from a martini glass for all I care.
Yep,
You're
yep,
gonna
yep.
notice you drink it differently, you eat it differently. You can start consuming different things when you take time to love yourself and make things beautiful or a little special, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I actually have I got my grandkids their own little special glasses
Hell
that they
yeah.
love drinking from as well. And it
Yeah.
will have like, ooh, we will clink, our glasses
I
together.
love it.
And it's like you said, it's just
Yeah.
water or, something really, really mundane, but it just
Sure.
elevates it because it's in a special glass.
Of course. I mean, when you drink from a martini glass, you set different. You like drink
It's
it different, right? Than just like a water glass. And I think that
Isn't that
sometimes,
funny?
yeah, sometimes
Us
we
humans are so
overlook
funny
it.
that way.
Yeah. What changed? Just the
It
glass. Now
it
I'm a
doesn't
different
take
person.
much. It really doesn't
Yeah.
take much
Yeah.
to elevate what we're doing all the time on a regular daily basis. Like, so
Yeah.
invitation to everybody listening. Go buy yourself a fancy glass or a fancy dish or whatever and
Yeah.
gift yourself a few moments of delight as you
Yes.
use that.
Listen, spark those little moments of joy. That's what life should be about,
It
right?
certainly should be. And we don't wait for somebody to do it for us. Do it
Yes.
for ourselves.
Yes.
Do it for
Yes.
ourselves. Oh, I love that. Do you have a
Yeah.
glass there? A glass
Well,
of,
right now I'm
I was
drinking
going to
out of this.
say,
This is like this.
clink.
Yes.
Nice
Woo.
clink.
This is an iridescent
Oh, I
one of
see it.
those
I
like,
see it.
yeah, stainless steel ones. So my
Yep,
drinks stay
yep.
cold, and in Mexico, our drinks don't stay cold for very long. So this is a necessity, but it's beautiful.
I know. I said I love the colors on it. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, this has been a delightful conversation. I really hate to see it
Thank
come to an
you.
end, but it must end at some point. I think
Yes.
you brought a lot to our attention, a lot of insights that people might not have thought about, all based on you giving up and making the intentional decision not to drink alcohol. And
Yeah,
you still have a delightful life. And
I
look at what
do.
you've created from that.
Yes. Yeah.
So you've probably lost some relationships and some beliefs and behaviors, but look at what you've gained in
Yeah.
place of.
So much.
It's a
So
beautiful
much.
thing. So I applaud you for that. And if somebody wanted to reach out to you and connect with you, maybe have a conversation how they can bring this to their own life or their own community, how can they connect with you?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram or on Facebook, and my handle is Neffing Around the World. I travel a lot. My last name is Neff, so that's where we're at.
I love that. And we will
Yeah.
include that in the show notes for sure. So people
Mhm.
have easy access to that. But they can certainly find you. And
Yeah.
we would love to hear any comments you have about our conversation. I had to go grab my sign because I forgot it. My little sign because I can never remember that stuff. But do all the things. We'd
Yes.
love for you to leave a comment. If this is an episode that you find would be beneficial to somebody else, please share it and really subscribe is really important to us. It's going to help us continue getting this message and these wonderful women out to the world so you can see what they're doing. Everybody's changing the world in their own way, and that's the way it should be instead
For
of
sure.
conforming. Thank you so much, Erin. So appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me as a guest, and I'm
Oh,
really honored to be here today.
it's been a delight. Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody who's listened in. We can't wait to see you, everybody here, at another episode of Evolving Women. Bye bye.